How was it, Keiichi-kun? Did you enjoy the festival? From the way she spoke, she seemed like she was a resident of Hinamizawa. I really should try harder to remember people's faces here. What was her name? Well, it was fine. My face must have given away how desperately I was trying to remember her name because she gave a light-hearted chuckle. It's probably because it hasn't been long since you moved here. It's pretty hard to believe seeing how friendly you've gotten with the other kids. If that's how it looked, it was probably all thanks to Reina and Mion. Perhaps you feel more like a resident of Hinamizawa after taking part in the festival today. I wonder about that. Oh, that's not like it. That's not like you. I'd tried to get used to Hinamizawa, but there were still plenty of things I didn't know. The faces of people I'd met, for example. Things that had happened in the past as well. Oh, you're feeling left out because of something like that. It's not so much as feeling left out. It's just I'm not sure how to say it. That incident at the dam construction site, the fighting over it and other conflicts, the terrible incident they pretended they didn't even know about whenever I brought it up. Even though it was in the past, as someone living in Hinamizawa, it wasn't wrong to want to know about both the good and bad that happened here. If it will put you at ease, then I'll tell you everything I know. Tomitake-san's smile made me more relieved than I'd ever been. It was hard to think of what to ask when someone said, "Ask me anything," though. Even when there was so much I wanted to ask. Then could you tell me about what happened when the dam was being constructed? There was a big incident here. Hinamizawa was going to be submerged, right? I think the locals would be more knowledgeable about the dam than I am. Nein. Well, if you don't mind, I'll tell you what I know.
Yeah. Yep.
It's only what I read in the newspaper, though.
Sieht man dich.
Was ist los? Ja. Tomitake-san's Eis endet. Ja, den Tag machen wir jetzt halt wenigstens noch fertig, weil Jezebel halt eben keine Lust hat. Und das sowieso hoffentlich nicht mehr so ewig lang dauert. Du kennst doch den Anime, oder? Wie lang dauert's denn vom ersten Festival bis zu dem ersten großen bösen Vorfall? Weißt du da zufällig, wie das im Anime so war? Da ist mein Tee. Da ist Müll. Ganz viel Müll. Xbox. Tortilla-Chips. Mein Penis. Tomitake-san's Eyes endet in an. Ich bin live. entered an unfocused gaze as he searched through his memory. Then he spoke. mein Kissen. Wer auch so ein Kissen haben will, der kann auf moodrush. Irgendwas gehen. .de, com, irgendwie sowas. The decision to start the damn project was finalized 7 or 8 years ago. Das meint 2 years. I heard it was the next major project after Kurobe. Das ist Jezebels Handy. Das sind Taschentücher.
Was ist das?
Eine Lampe, die nicht mehr geht, weil Batterien leer sind. There were 3 major issues in Japan at that time. Improving inter-island transportation infrastructure, meeting the higher demand of electricity, and flood control. There was a boom of dam building due to the massive economic stimulus they provided on top of generating electricity and flood control. Machst jetzt eine Roomtour? Ja, okay. Hinamizawa had the right conditions to support dam construction, so it was singled out.
Wie weit komme ich bitte?
Weiß nicht, musst du gucken. The dam reservoir would have covered quite a lot of ground when it was completed. Was ist am nächsten Tag passieren? Muss mitkriegen und böse werden. Ja, bei mir ist es auch eine Zeit her. Also ich bin mir auch nicht mehr so ganz sicher. Also mit ersten bösen Vorfall und so weiter meine ich halt, wenn die alle ich weiß nicht, wenn die alle Schlummerparty sind oder so. Wo sind denn alle Leute? Ich habe keine Ahnung. Und hallo Hexet. Da ist mein Schrank. Nee. Musst runter. Ja, jetzt ein bisschen. Exit sagt hi. Ja. The dam reservoir would have covered quite a lot of ground when it was completed. The entire area right up to Yaguichi way upstream would be underwater. But why did they have to pick a populated area like Hinamizawa? Das ist mein iPod. Da ist gerade Dark Fortress drauf. Nicht mehr lange dauern. Gut, dann hoffen wir, dass es eventuell dann nächste Woche fertig ist. Beziehungsweise hoffen wir es eigentlich nicht. Mein Eistee. Couldn't they have instead picked a place where nobody lived? I'm not really sure why, but I heard that it was just the right terrain for building a dam. Of course, there were protests here in Hinamizawa. Rika-chan had said there was a battle. From that choice of words, I had to guess things had turned violent. There was a trial and it was even brought up before the national diet. It was covered in the Tokyo newspapers too. Miyone told me about that as well. I'm sure every resident of Hinamizawa had united to fight together. The feeling of solidarity found here. Nein, which could not be expressed properly with mere words, was likely brought about by that battle. Sind noch welche drin? Nom nom. haben will. Ja, dann ist selbst. Ja, dankeschön. As a result, bribery and scandals were brought to light. Ajo. Jezebel hat keine Lust mehr. Jezebel muss essen. Apropos Essen gibt's dann auch erst, wenn Jezebel Lust hat zu streamen. Damit ich hier weg kann und kochen kann. Heute gibt's improvisierte Nudeln süß-sauer. Weil ich absolut keine Ahnung habe, ob das gut schmecken wird oder nicht. As a result, blah 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 blah. As things got more and more complicated, they eventually halted construction. If I wanted to know now, was my only chance to ask. If it was certainly a bizarre incident that boys my age would be curious about. Ja. Werft ihn, ich bin im Krankenhaus. I felt a little shame from the fact I was petty enough to have my curiosity piqued by Rena and Mion's refusal to talk about the event. But I figured I might as well ask since I had the chance. Just so I would stop thinking about it so much.
Fragen, ohne darüber zu reden, die Fragen hört.
Nein! So, there was a dismemberment, right? There was. It happened to be here in Hinamizawa at the time, so I remember it well. Tomitaki-san's answer was nonchalant in contrast to my hesitantly forced out question. It was about this time, 4 years ago. It was the day of the Higurashi, if I recall correctly. Debate on whether to continue construction on the dam was in disarray. Scandal after scandal rocked the project near the end. The incident that was the final nail in the coffin for the dam project. A fight at the dam construction site ended in the victim being murdered. Fearing prosecution, the 6 assailants divided the remains into 6 pieces and each hit one. 5 of the 6 criminals turned themselves in out of guilt, but one was still on the run. The right arm he'd hidden had yet to be found. The major details lined up with what was in the tabloid I'd read earlier. It certainly was a tragic incident, but it wasn't so terrible that Rena and Mio needed to hide it from me. I guess they didn't want someone who'd just moved here to have a negative impression on Hinamizawa. I felt grateful for having friends who worried so much about me, as well as shame for still being so interested in it. Ja, dankeschön. It was near the end of all the trouble with the dam, you see. So everyone was saying that it was Oyashiro-sama's curse. Oyashiro-sama's curse, huh? Oyashiro-sama was the name of the god at the shrine that held the festival today, if I recalled correctly. I see. The guardian deity rained divine punishment down on the evil dam construction for trying to flood Hinamizawa. Apparently the younger ones didn't think so, but it seems the elderly in the village never doubted that it was Oyashiro-sama's curse. The woman with Tomitaki-san said with a mischievous chuckle. Tomitaki-san began laughing with her. It was so infectious. I ended up laughing as well. But I wonder about now. There are quite a few, I think. Amongst the youth too. A few what? People who believe in Oyashiro-sama's curse. The woman's lips were still curled into a smile, but her expression turned stern. Then after that, it continued every year, always around this time. Continued what continued. Tomitaki-san paused for a second as if to build up some suspense. Then he whispered to me as if someone might have been listening. Every year on the day of the Watanagashi, somebody dies. The year following the dismemberment on the day of the Watanagashi, a man from Hinamizawa who had supported the dam fell off a cliff overlooking some rapids and died while he was on vacation. Unfortunately for his wife, the body was never recovered. He supported the dam construction even though he lived in Hinamizawa. At the time, there were whispers amongst the elderly saying it was Oyashiro-sama's curse. The woman chuckled mischievously, again. Then the next year, the night of the Watanagashi. The shrine's Shinto priest died suddenly from an unknown illness. His wife drowned herself in the bog that night. The shrine's Shinto priest, you mean he was from the shrine here? The woman nodded. There was a rumor against amongst the villagers that they weren't able to quell Oyashiro-sama's anger. Then the year after that, again on the night of the Watanagashi, they discovered the battered body of a local housewife. Housewife? Up until now, all these Ja, schön. Schenke ich dir, wenn du willst. Ja, dann.
Ich seh's dir auch.
Up until now, all these mysterious deaths were people involved with the dam or who had connections with Oyashiro-sama. With that in mind, could the housewife have been involved in some way too? Exactly. The woman stated slyly. No, it was more menacing. Du hast genug runtergeschmissen. One of the victim's relatives, you see, was connected to the younger brothers of the dam supporter who fell to his death 2 years before. The younger brother is still alive, it seems. But it did bother him quite a bit, so he moved to the neighboring town. For a while I stood there with my mouth agape. The battle over the dam construction with Hinamizawa's future at stake, and the murder at the center of it all. That was all I knew, and that was all I wanted to ask about. But that wasn't all there was to this story. Homicide, body disposal, accidental deaths, terminal illness, suicide, fatal beatings. Was denn? Nein. I'm a pretty level-headed person. I don't really want to believe in curses. But the freakish deaths happened every year on the day of the Watanagashi, and all of them were related to the dam construction. It was easy to dismiss each of them as coincidences by themselves, but when you put them all together, dismissing all of them as coincidence would then defy logic. Was denn? Ich, ja. I don't believe in curses. But every single year on the day of the Watanagashi, somebody or something makes it happen, without fail. The woman chuckled again, as if she picked up on what I was thinking. It felt like she was saying, maybe there was, maybe we frightened him, stuff like that. I felt embarrassed at being read so easily. I pressed Tomitaki-san to continue, a bit of impatience and irritation in my tone. Then? So, somebody died the next year, right? Who was it that time? I wonder. Who do you think, Keiichi-kun? The hell? The way he said it didn't agree with me. The sarcastic tone ticked me off. Don't avoid the question, I'm serious here. Hey, calm down, Keiichi-kun. Ja, schön. Am Fuß bin ich aber nicht kitzlig.
Aber warum?
Weiß ich nicht. Vielleicht weil die Situation gerade nicht passt. I realized when she tried to calm me down that I had been panicking. We aren't trying to avoid the question, Keiichi-kun. Yeah, sure. It's just when you say the next year, that's today. When she hesitated to say it, Tomitaki-san finished for her. I broke into a cold sweat. I really didn't like the direction this was headed. Nobody wants to speak of it, but they all think it's going to happen again tonight. The festival was so cheerful, though. Well, the victim last year, the housewife, she was a non-believer. It turns out she didn't even attend the Watanagashi festival. There was a rumor going around that if you didn't participate in the festival, you would incur Yashiro-sama's wrath. Didn't you hear anything about this, Keiichi-kun? Doch, ich lieb dich. Doch, ich lieb dich. Nein. Nein. I never even heard a whisper of that rumor. Doch, tu ich. Then the reason everyone was at the festival was they were afraid of the curse. I figured that must have been the reason. There were a lot more people at the Watanagashi than usual. I guess everyone was just afraid after all of Oyashiro-sama's curse. Was? I couldn't utter a single word. In this modern age, where we've made a progress in all scientific fields, shedding light on the unknown and misunderstood, where black and white television has been eradicated and we've sent men to the moon, even with all of our accomplishments, this can exist in modern society. Tons of invitations were sent out to laboring towns, youth groups to help pad the numbers. But after that string of events, a few decided to join. The municipal committee members were complaining about how hard it was to gather participants. Also, the police were treating each case as isolated. They don't believe they're connected. They're trying to keep it quiet, so it's all plainclothes officers. It finally began to dawn on me why Rain and Mion were reluctant to talk. Exit schreibt, gut, ich gehe ja schon. Jetzt hast du Hexit vergrault. If nothing happened during the Watanagashi, everything would have been over with, and I'd be none the wiser. If nothing happened, all would be well. In that case, it would all end up being just crazy talk. I should have just pretended like I knew nothing from the beginning. Then they wouldn't have had to act like nothing happened. And we would have all gotten back to life as usual. Maybe it was just too much for him after all. The woman ran her fingers through her hair as she sighed. No, it wasn't not at all. I had tried to act strong, but that just served to emphasize how much the information had unsettled me. After seeing how I looked, Tomitake-san appeared to regret saying anything. Letting out a sigh, he then spoke, forcing an awkward upbeat demeanor.
Du bist doof.
Keiichi-kun, surely you don't believe in such things as curses. Well, no. If the causes of all the crimes were unknown, with the perpetrators and their methods all mysteries, then I would think it's the work of a curse. But that's not how things are in reality. The police are investigating the evidence and suspects to uncover the truth. Hearing him say police made me feel a lot better. It was perfect for repelling the word curse. The first one, the dismemberment, for example. I told you, didn't I? All but one of the people, of the perpetrators, were arrested. Only a matter of time for the last one. The motive turned out to have been an argument they had while intoxicated. That's no curse. Don't you agree? That was true. If it didn't happen on the day of the Watanagashi, then I wouldn't think it was related to the curse at all.
Panties.
Jezebel panties.
Nein, hör auf.
The accidental death of the man who supported the dam is the same. He was in a position that made others hate him. The police made a point of investigating from that angle. They concluded it was an accident, not foul play. But they both happened on the day of the festival, right? Ha ha ha. Just think about it, Keiichi-kun. Do you think people with a lot of enemies here in Hinamizawa could participate easily in a local festival? It would be especially hard for them to be around during the Watanagashi. So they probably left Hinamizawa intentionally. 9.
No.
9.
Wait.
intentionally around this time of year to
Was ich,
travel,
wenn ich
don't
dich
you
aussteck?
think? Da geht It wasn't a very clear explanation, but I sort of understood what Tomitaki-san was getting at. So I pressed on, earnestly asking more questions so that I could convince myself. Ja, das Setup ist jetzt sowieso allgemein total verkackt, weil nix passt und Jezebel einfach nur Scheiße baut.
Wenn du mich nicht liebst.
Then Tomitaki-san, what about the priest who died after that? The one with the unknown illness. That also happened on the day of the festival. It's even easier to explain what happened to the Shinto priest. The Mount Nagashi is a real big event that happens one a year. It was probably from all the built-up stress. Or it may have been because of a pre-existing condition. But it was all unknown. But it was an unknown illness. It's hard to believe something with an unknown cause could exist with all our advances in medicine.
Kamera in einer Kamera in einer Kamera in einer Kamera. Machst du? Nein! Halt deine Kamera kurz.
It's just an exaggeration. Rumors making rumors. Anyone would get worked up over having incidents happen 2 years in a row. The sudden death is quite unnatural though. Of course the police ordered an autopsy because of the strange way he died. But there wasn't enough for them to open a full investigation, you know. Alles okay? Schatz. So. Da bin ich wieder. So, wegen der Webcam müssen wir jetzt nochmal kurz schauen, ob wir die wieder sauber bekommen. Ansonsten ist halt erstmal ein bisschen neblig bei mir. Schauen wir mal kurz. Ich hier irgendwo nicht noch irgendwie stiftmäßig irgendwas kleines Spitzes. Sieht nicht so aus. Gut, dann kurz einen Moment. Kurz einen Moment. Na, sieht immer noch scheiße aus. Das ist jetzt natürlich nicht so supi. Aber es ist meine Schuld. Es ist meine Schuld. So, ich habe auch keine Ahnung, wie es mit dem Stream heute so weiter aussieht, weil Jezebel, keine Ahnung. Hat anscheinend eventuell immer noch keinen Bock, irgendwas zu machen. Das war das eigentlich, das war also das, was ich da rumgespielt habe, das war Fußdeo mit Menthol. Gut, dann sieht's halt erstmal aus wie Silent Hill hier. Ja, so extrem schlimm ist jetzt auch nicht. Habe ich die Software für die Kamera müsste ich eigentlich installiert haben. Eventuell kann ich auch mal schauen, ob das irgendwie in irgendeiner Art und Weise ich das über die Software ein bisschen besser korrigieren könnte. Das wäre auf jeden Fall nicht schlecht. So. Helligkeit. Na, so sieht's. So sieht's halbwegs okay aus. Ja, so sieht's halbwegs okay aus. Naja, können wir so lassen. Ja. So, wie es weiter mit dem Stream aussieht, ich habe keine Ahnung, weil ich würde dann schon gerne irgendwie dann demnächst was kochen. Und Brillenputztücher habe ich jetzt noch nicht probiert. Ich habe nur ein bisschen Spucke und ein Taschentuch probiert. Ich probiere es dann aber auch auf jeden Fall mal mit Brillenputztuch. Danke für den Vorschlag. Eventuell bringt das was. Aber eventuell kann es auch sein, dass ich nach Higurashi, ich werde dann nach Higurashi, also wenn ich mit Higurashi hier mal fertig bin, langsam, noch eine kurze Pause machen. Werde dann mich mal bei Jezebel ein bisschen erkundigen, wie es aussieht, ob sie eventuell trotzdem noch Lust hat zu streamen. Falls ja, dann gibt's weiter Stream. Falls nein, dann wird das dann wahrscheinlich Ende für den Stream heute gewesen sein. Mit Stream morgen habe ich absolut keine Ahnung, ob es eingeben wird, weil Sonntag und ja, mal schauen. Eigentlich müsste ich mich ein bisschen um das Creepypasta, um mein Creepypasta-Kanal-Zeug kümmern. Weil es da jetzt inzwischen fast 2 Wochen lang keine Creepypastas von den Gastvertonern gab. Eigentlich sollte diese Woche wieder welche kommen, aber das war halt wegen Jezebel, da die kurzfristig irgendwie jetzt halt eben bei mir ist und so weiter. War das halt nicht so supi geplant und so weiter. Daher ja, war das ein bisschen hin und her und keine Zeit für Creepypastas und so weiter. Ja, nehmen auch an, dass es zumindest teilweise auch an den Streams lag und so weiter. Jo. Ja gut, wir spielen jetzt noch ein bisschen Higurashi. Hoffen, dass eventuell der Tag relativ bald da hier auch zu Ende ist. Ansonsten werde ich das irgendwann auch einfach wie vorhin gehabt eigentlich abbrechen und so weiter. Also speichern und erstmal beenden. Aber ne. Also. It's just an exaggeration. Rumors making rumors. Anyone would get worked up over having incidents happen 2 years in a row. The sudden death is quite unnatural though. Of course, the police ordered an autopsy because of the strange way he died, but there wasn't enough for them to open a full investigation. You know, it turns out it was just a sudden death due to illness. The priest's wife committed suicide, correct? What about that? I believe I already explained that. Everyone was shaken up by the incidents happening for a third year. Those who are of strong faith were quick to believe it was the work of the curse. Of course, that included the priest's wife. Apparently, they found a suicide note that said something like, "My death will quell Oyashiro-sama's anger." Well then, how about the next incident with the housewife? That happened on the day of the Watanagashi 2. The perpetrator has already been caught and the case has been closed. Turns out it was just some nut job trying to continue the legacy of the Hinamizawa curse. Then, how about the incident the next year? Oh yeah, this year is the next year. Tomitake-san gave a hearty laugh. Nothing will happen. Not this year. There was never a curse to begin with. It's just that a group of people believed it was the explanation for a string of coincidences. My internal computer finally got itself back on track. I felt a bit embarrassed by how childish I'd become after losing control and panicking. I can see very clearly how now that Keiichi-kun really does love Hinamizawa. Even if Oyashiro-sama's curse actually did exist, Keiichi-kun couldn't bring himself to believe that such a thing existed. I felt very relieved. Oh. The game crashed. Das Spiel ist abgestürzt. Okay. Nicht gut. Nicht gut. Gut, dann klicken wir mal ganz schnell durch ein bisschen. Heute läuft nichts gut irgendwie. Weil ich glaube fast, Dialog mit dem Typen, der hier ist, wäre so gut wie beendet eigentlich. Schauen wir mal.
Was für die Sorge gibt.
Hab's ein bisschen versucht dem mit dem Programm von der Kamera ein bisschen zu bessern, aber und mein Spiel ist abgestürzt. Nee, warst du noch weg. So, wir speichern mal kurz zwischen. Nicht, falls das wieder abkackt.
Taschentuch. Brillenputz. Brillenputz.
Sind in der Küche. Ich hol gleich welche.
Was für die passiert?
Ja. Moment. Da waren wir, glaube ich, noch nicht, oder? 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 Ja, doch, war mal. Mensch, haben wir viel gelesen heute. Gut,
Ja.
da waren wir. Ups. Okay.
Kann das
I felt very relieved. I should probably just forget everything I heard tonight. I'll greet Rena and Mion tomorrow with the same smile as always. They'd probably also like tonight to end without incident, so they can continue on tomorrow without having worried me. Perhaps seeing my change in attitude, the woman who had been listening in stretched as she got up from the rock she was sitting on. Well then, I should be getting back. Goodness, I think I may have gone on a bit too long. There were so few people compared to the crowd from before. I could only make out a few groups of families enjoying the cool evening air. I looked at my watch. It seemed we'd talked for the better part of an hour. Didn't you come along with your friends, Keiichi-kun? Not going to look for them? Oh yeah, they might all be looking for me. You're quite the scoundrel making the girls look for you. See you, Keiichi-kun. Have a nice night.
weiß nicht, wie es
Also bei mir bewegt sich nichts. Achso.
heißt, du müsstest.
Ist die angeschlossen? Okay. Naja.
Mehr kann ich nicht.
Ne, ich probier's dann mal mit Brillenputzen. Ja. See you, Keiichi-kun. Have a nice night. You too, Jiro-san. I'll see you a bit later. Tomitake-san seems to be quite the scoundrel himself. So his name is
Moment.
Jiro. After dusting off her backside, she disappeared into the crowd of people still busy cleaning up the shrine grounds.
Oh,
Genauso. Keiichi-kun. Gut, hier machen wir. Hier machen wir Stopp.
jetzt.
Genauso. Hast du noch Lust, irgendwie zu streamen, irgendwas zu spielen? Ansonsten würde ich Stream beenden. Hm? Gut, dann war's das für heute.
Schaut jetzt aus.
Genauso.
Diese
Hm. Dann war's das für heute. Ich wünsche euch noch eine schöne Samstagnacht. Und ja, dann. Wie sieht's mit morgen aus?
genau.
Morgen, keine Ahnung. Aber wie gesagt, ich werde mich morgen hauptsächlich erstmal um das Creepypasta-Zeug kümmern. Dass da nächste Woche wieder was online kommt. Und ja, müssen wir mal schauen, wie, wann, wo und was weiß ich. Gut, dann, wie gesagt, bis zum nächsten Mal. Genauso. Bis zum nächsten Mal. Schönen Samstag noch und ja. Und falls wir uns morgen nicht sehen und sonst wann, schönen Sonntag und restlichen Tage.